Hello everybody, welcome back to Calmlands and the 200 horsepower challenge. As you can see, everything we planted in September has now sprouted. Got some nice sorghum here on our left. We missed a spot out there. I'm not sure how that happened, but no big deal. Got our sugar beets coming up. They look really good. The only issue I have with that is while I was seeding, I accidentally seeded um, grass into this field. I also seeded it into the sorghum field, but I remembered to go back and fix that. I neglected to fix the sugar beet field, but we didn't lose too many sugar beets there. Got our oats on the left, looking good. Grass out here on the right, also looking good. Um, we we're about halfway fertilized. It's odd. Most of the time, when you freshly plant a field with a seeder that also applies fertilizer, you get 50% fertilization because then you have to go back and do it again. I've got like 67% on some fields and then 54% on other fields. I'm not sure why that is. We plowed up all the grass, so actually we cut the grass first and then we plowed, so we shouldn't have gotten an extra fertilizer state out of that. So I don't know what's going on, but we will be fertilizing here in October because that's how you make your crops yield the most. Also, we shouldn't have to worry about weeds this year because the crop you plant after freshly plowing a field will not have any weeds. Whenever you plow a field, you get a free crop with no weeds. And our fields all need lime, but I should have done that before I seeded everything, but I didn't, and we're going to go without lime this time. So that's kind of where the fields are. We have $1,400, and we need a fertilizer spreader, and we need some sheds. We need some things. So we're going to look at our silage situation. I know we're going to sell some. So let's take a look. Right now we have 328,000 liters of silage. That's everything. That's how much grass we got minus what we sold in the last episode. Right now it's $660 per 1,000 liters, so that would get us 216,777. If we wait until January, we would get another 23,000-ish dollars. So I think we're gonna wait with most of it because at this point in the game, 23,000 bucks is nothing to sneeze at. So I think today we can sell 100,000 liters and end up with enough money to do what we need to do right now. Get some sheds and kind of work on the yard and get a fertilizer spreader, and then still have enough silage left to sell in January so that we'll be able to buy the harvester, actually harvesters, because we're also going to need to harvest those sugar beets. So I think that'll work out. We'll see. We should have some more grass before then too. Since we're not running seasons, the grass will continue to grow. So it's October right now. It's going to be close, but we should get another cut before January and hopefully get some more silage before then. But today we are going to sell 100,000 liters of silage. And we're going to have to do it 25,000 liters at a time, which doesn't take a math wizard to know we're going to have to take 4 trips. Very good. 16,500. My goal was to make about 60 grand. And we're going to make more than that. We'll make at 660, we should make $66,000 for selling 100,000 liters. Again, this is not difficult math even for me. All right, we got that same price for all 4 loads. So we ended up with $67,620. And now we can make some improvements to the farm. And I think we'll still have more than enough for harvesters and some other things that we might need along the way till we can get our productions up and running and making steady income. All right, I'll meet you guys back at the farm and we'll make some improvements. All right, I got all the gear out of the way, so I want to do a little landscaping now. And we're just going to put down some dirt. We're just going to take the grass off the top and leave the dirt. And that's going to be our yard. I'm going to leave some separation over here between the yard and the field. And that just helps me kind of see where the edge of the yard is and not put anything there that's going to interfere with working the field. And same thing with this field. Maybe even a little bigger border there. We're not going to do anything intricate like Rusty's doing down the hill there. I guess Rusty would technically be up the hill. His land is right over there, where that tree is. We're just going to put dirt down on our basic flat area. Rusty had to build his own flat areas. If you haven't watched his videos, please do. In fact, if you haven't watched all of the other videos, please do. It's really interesting to see how everybody is doing things a little bit different, and then also the things that everybody is doing the same because they're kind of forced into it by the game. You know, we all started with the same small amount of money and had to buy our land out of that money and had to buy equipment and everything out of that small amount of money. And it's kind of forced us into the planner, for instance. You know, I said last time that I felt like probably everybody was going to be using that planner, and just about everybody is. But back to the combined effort here. Go watch those other YouTubers. They're all linked in the description of this video. Go and watch their videos, support their channels, please subscribe. Everybody doing this is a small YouTuber. There are no big names here. There's not, anybody with a million subscribers. We're all tiny channels. And this is really a lot of fun that we're collaborating, even as small as our channels are. We're all collaborating. Although I think this challenge is helping our channels to get bigger. I know my channel's getting bigger. I just passed 500 subscribers. Thank you all so much for that. That is unbelievable to me that 500 people want to watch me do this. That's just unbelievable and very gratifying, and I appreciate all of you for that, as I know all the other YouTubers do. So please go and watch their videos, give them a like, subscribe, help them out, help us all get bigger from this experience. We're all having a great deal of fun doing this, and it's a lot of fun to see how we differ. So I've got some dirt now. And I can do things with my dirt. I'm going to put down a shed. We need a shed, and I probably shouldn't spend this much for a shed, but it's going to hold most of our equipment. It's going to definitely hold all of our large equipment, and if we need more space, we can always put in something smaller later on. But we're going to start with our big shed. Um, and I say it costs a lot. It's only 20,000. There are sheds that cost a whole lot more than that. But ours costs 20 grand, and it's right here. It's the open wooden garage. And I like it because it has some interesting architecture, and also it's tall enough to put a harvester in, which is hard to find sometimes. So I'm going to put this guy right here. I think that's pretty straight. Very nice. Didn't bleed into our field at all. Very nice. All right, so now we have a shed to put everything in. So let's put everything in it. Not going to put the tractor in because we're going to be using that. But we can park this mower because we won't be using this again for a while. Not only is it tall, but it's also deep, and you're able to put a whole lot of stuff in it. All right. I'm going to put the seeder in first because I think I'm going to have to put I'm going to put the planter in first because I think then I can put the seeder in front of it, and we'll use the seeder a lot more often than we use the planter. So I think I can fit both these guys in the middle. I'll leave some room. I think I can probably get the plow in next to this. We're going to back the seeder in right in front of the planter. Oh, no. It's all right. Everything's fine. Oh, wow. It hooked them both together. I don't know why you would ever want to do that. Okay. So they're both covered. Next, I think the plow needs to go in next to. Yeah, I think at some point we'll need a smaller shed to store this equipment in. Maybe. We'll be able to put the fertilizer spreader right in front of that. So, we may have to shuffle some things in and out when it's time to use them. But chances are we'll need more storage down the road. This doesn't really even need to go in a storage space, but I'm going to put it in one anyway because we have it. Wow. I am bad at backing today. And that's it. All of our equipment has been stored. All right, the next thing I want to do is install the other half of this Omatana production. So this is the other side of that production. The one we currently have makes all of our farm supplies, silage, hay, anything we need to run the farm. This production makes stuff. It'll make sugar, it'll make oils, it'll make flour. It makes pretty much everything in the game. I'm sorry if I'm making you guys seasick here. I'm just trying to get it all lined up straight. But what Omatana did was basically take all of the base game productions and put them all in one place. And then make that place small enough to fit in a very small space. I love her mods. She really gets what players need. And she makes very, very useful things. And I think I actually lined that up correctly the first time. I almost never do. But you see, they fit together perfectly. And I got to turn around. There I am. Wow, yeah, you can't even see the seam in the wall. You can see it a little bit up there. You can probably see it in the back. Yeah, you can. So I didn't line it up perfectly. You know what? I don't even care. I got close enough and it'll all work just fine. So we'll be able to make flour and sugar there and use them in our ultimate production here. And then back here, I'm going to put a silo, a very small, kind of inexpensive silo, because we will need it at some point. And here it is. It holds 2 million liters and it costs 11 grand. And we're going to put it right here behind this production. And that'll hide the fact that our factories aren't perfectly lined up. That looks pretty good. And there we go. We now have a silo. Not interfering with our production in any way. Very, very good. Making progress. Now, the next thing we need is a fertilizer spreader. So here's what we have to choose from. Actually, let's take a look at the sale first. No fertilizer spreaders in the sale. Now, a lot of the things that we might want are going to be out of our price range. We have very little to spend on this, so we're looking for something more like that. That has a 36 meter spread, but it only holds 1,300 liters, which we're going to have to be refilling a bunch, especially when we start doing lime. Here's the Comland special. If we had all the money, this would be the one we'd go for. We'd get the 10,000 liter at 42 meters. I really can't think of a good reason to buy a fertilizer spreader that has less than a 42 meter spread. There are so many now that are reasonably priced that do have a 42 meter spread. And if you need less, you just set it for less. I can't think of a good reason to buy something that's less than 42 meters. So, I mean, these are very, very cheap. But if we come down here, we see the Rouch. And you have to buy this one first before you discover this. This says it has an 18 meter spread. it actually has a 42-meter spread. And I don't know why this hasn't been updated, but with the extension, it holds 1,500 liters. Not a lot, but it's enough for now. 1,500 liters of fertilizer should cover all of our fields, I think. If not, then maybe we refill it. We do a little bit more of a tank. But for the most part, 1,500 liters is going to cover most of our field. And we'll need some fertilizer to go with it. There's our fertilizer. Just going to go with one. Actually, probably need to go with two. All right, we may need that other 500 liters. We may not. We'll see. Well, we got a little bit more to do. So we definitely needed 2 bags. Go finish up this last little bit so we get everything completely fertilized. All right, so that's all of our fields 100% fertilized. So our yield will be just as good as it can possibly be. The last thing I wanted to do today was to buy a chicken coop and some chickens if possible. But I think we're a little short on cash. So I think what we're going to have to do is sell one more load of silage. And then I promise we're going to save the rest of it to sell in January when the price is best. All right, let's take a look at chicken pens. There's a lot of them at various prices with various capacities. But for us, the decision is going to come down to price and number of chickens. So I guess price per chicken would be a good way to measure it. I kind of like this one. It's 150 chickens for $4,500. It's pretty small enclosure. But unfortunately, I think we're going to need more than 150 chickens. So I think we can do better on the price per chicken. There is this one. But I have found in the past when I've used this chicken pen, the capacity for food is not large enough. And so you end up having to feed chickens every single day, as opposed to most chicken barns where you can fill it full of food and it'll last for 2 or 3 months until you have to refill it. So it's nice that it's 500 chickens. It's nice that it's only $10,000. That's a really good price per chicken. But at the same time, it's kind of a pain because the capacity is not large enough. So I think we're gonna do kind of what we always do when we're in these low budget situations is we're gonna go with the Bavarian Farm Pack. 360 chickens, which I think is gonna be enough for our purposes. We're gonna turn it around this way so that it's facing the road. At some point, I am going to have to use a either a front loader or a forklift or a wheel loader or something to load pallets with. So I want to make sure that they are easily accessible because I am bad using any of those tools. That's when the real comedy of my videos will start, is when I start trying to pick up pallets. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get it a little further over this way. I want to save this area up here because I know I'm going to need more sheds, and I think all of our stuff can be parked back there. But I want to make sure I get this over far enough and still leave room for our production. I think that is the perfect place right there. All right, so we have a chicken pen and we have 13 grand left. At some point, I will put our automatic selling of animal products right here, and that'll pick up those eggs and it will send them to our production. But for right now, I don't think we need to spend money on that. It's only 500 bucks, but still, it's money that we really shouldn't spend at the moment. So let's get a few chickens. Okay, so this is an adult chicken for $6 a piece. So we're going to select that. Okay, we might as well fill it up then. 25.20 to fill it up. Let's do that. And now we need to feed them, which would require us... Let's see. I don't know if I'm going to be able to feed these chickens without either a trailer that has grain in it or some sort of front loader forklift to be able to put a bag of food on the trigger there. All right, so we're here at the store. The dilemma is how do we feed the chickens? We know we're going to have to buy chicken food, but we don't have a front loader on the tractor or a forklift. We can't even put a front loader on this tractor. So that's completely out of the question. I considered maybe having the store have its own forklift, which we may do at some point. But I think at the moment we are going to put in a buying station. And I thought the best place to do it was here near the store. I want to be able to feed our chickens with food that we grow as opposed to buying food for the chickens. So I'm going to have to buy food for them now, but I want to make sure that it's not really easy to do that. So I don't want to put this on the farm. It's going to be down here in container. Now, we're not going to install this one today, but this is probably going to be the more useful one for us. It's the Fieldwork Fill Station, and it was created by our old friend Gaming Joy, who is also participating in this challenge. And but it only sells things like seeds and fertilizer and lime. So it's going to be very useful for us because it gives us a 30% discount for buying bulk. But we're going to place this on the farm so that we can get to it easily. The production we're going to place here, it is back here, and it's this one. It is the Farm Supply Buying Station. And this is one of the few places that will actually sell you animal food. You can buy pig food, you can buy wheat, you can buy all kinds of things from this production. And what I like about it is the prices aren't nearly as cheaty as they are from the multi-fruit buying station. So we're going to place that there. So now we need a trailer to carry that back to the farm. So we're going to find us a trailer. We don't even have to look very hard because we can't afford much of a trailer. And the best deal on trailers when you have no money are these guys right here. From the PTS 4 and 5 Burlak pack. These are Russian trailers, and they're quite inexpensive. I'm going to buy this one because I can back it up easy. But I really wish that this tongue was up a little higher. It's probably going to look kind of funny. So I don't know why it's hooking up to the higher hitch. Why it's not hooking up to the hitch that's right there near it. I've used it with this tractor before, and it looks like it should just be able to hook to that hitch right there. But then when you hitch it up, it goes way up there. So I don't know what's going on here. And it looks kind of funny, but we're going to roll with it because it's cheap. Now, we need to buy some chicken food, but we need to leave ourselves a little bit of money. I wonder what's cheaper, barley or wheat, or let's find out. What is the cheapest thing we can feed our chickens? 1,011 for wheat, 938 for barley, and 1290 for sorghum. Our chickens are going to eat barley. All right, let's check on these guys. So we have about, 3/4 of our chicken feed full. That's hard to say. If you look, they eat 5,400 liters per day. So we have a full chicken coop, so they'll eat 5,400 liters a day. Yearly, they will eat 62,640 liters, which means that's how much we have to grow every year. With sorghum, we may get close to that because we can get a crop every 3 months of sorghum. I don't know how much that field is going to yield, but if it yields 31,000 liters, then we're good. If not, then we may have to buy some chicken food throughout the year, but we'll drive to town to buy it. So that's where we are late in the afternoon in October. There's not much more for us to do today. We're in that place where we're waiting for the crops to grow, we're waiting for the grass to grow, we're waiting for the chickens to lay eggs. We're just kind of in a waiting place right now. So I think that's going to do it for today's episode. If you like this video, I sure would appreciate a thumbs up or a subscription. If you did not like this video, please post a comment and tell me why. Either way, thanks so much for being here. I'll see you next time.